Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking trail cameras. It's early in the scouting process. Some of you are just finding out what you drew this year, but you probably are wanting to get out, set some trail cameras, and get boots on the ground. So I'm going to give you 5 tips that I found will add to your trail camp success, and that way you can have better experience in your scouting process, find more animals, and hopefully find that one particular animal that you want to chase this fall. So the first thing we kind of talk about is what trail cams I'm running. I've ran Stealth Cam for probably a decade. They just been really consistent, good cameras. These are the 3 trail cameras that I'm going to be using. I just picked some brand new ones up, so fresh out of the box, this is what you can look for. The DS4K is going to offer amazing video. So if you're looking for a video camera that's going to do good, the 4K is nice. It's been reliable. What I really like on this 4K is the battery life. I've ran the 4K in late season, fall, cold conditions, summer, and hot conditions, and it's performed great as far as battery life goes, and it takes some really clean video. If you're looking more for like just a photo camera, something where you're like, I don't need the best video, you can look at this one here. This is the G Max 32. Takes really high resolution photos, 1080p video. If you're in a state that allows you to run cameras during the hunt, cell cameras can be huge because you don't have to disrupt the area. You don't have to walk in and check the camera. It can actually wirely transmit it right to your phone through the app. I can go to the Command Pro app. If I had any active cameras, they'd be listed right there. I can push on one of those and all of the images will pull up there. If I want to download any of the high res images, I can click on them, download them right there to my phone. But if I just want to check, all of them will download there. It's super easy to use. So a great way to not disrupt the wildlife, let the camera work and see what's out there. And you can put your time into other things like glassing or running more cameras. So let's talk a little bit about trail cam placement. I would say that is the first thing that is important when you're setting your trail camera up. You want to find places, and I like pulling out my phone, going on my maps. I use onX Maps now. I've used onX Maps for a while. And what you can do is zoom in, get your topo lines on there, and start looking at 3D mode and picking apart the hillside. What I'm looking for is game trails. Sometimes you could see game trails if you're looking close enough on the hillside and it's a heavily used area. Elk, deer, any of those types of animals are going to put trails over the years into the hillside. And you can follow those trails, and maybe that with the topo lines, you'll find a nice saddle or a pinch point that the mountain creates where animals are naturally going to funnel. That's a great place to put a trail camera, because what you want to do is put your camera in the best place where it's going to capture any of the animals that are using that particular area of the mountain. If you just have it on a random side hill and the animals can cross above it, below it, around it, you're not going to capture everything. But if it all comes to a pinch point or a saddle, that's a great place for a camera. It's also a great place where someone's going to walk. So make sure you probably lock that camera to a tree. I just like using cable locks. So I look for pinch points, trails on my digital maps, my onX Maps, and springs. Springs are a great one, especially for moose or elk. Deer, not so much, but some places it could definitely be beneficial. Look for springs. You can pull up springs on your onX Maps and just go from there. Oftentimes there's going to be great trails leading to those springs that you can find and put your cameras on. Let's go through the setup of camera, and this could be multiple steps, or we could just count it as one step, but we'll count it as one here. Is format that SD card. I like running a 64 gigabyte SD card if I'm doing anything video mode. SanDisk makes a very trustworthy SD card, so I like running those. Typically they're like 30 bucks. But make sure if you're going video mode, it's a 64 gigabyte card at a minimum. If you're doing photo mode, some of them only allow 32 gigabytes, so 32 gigabyte will hold quite a bit of photos. Next couple things is make sure when you're setting your camera, you're taking into account how the animals are going to come in, how long they're going to be in front of that camera. If you're setting up a camera with bait in front of it, I use cracked out attractants. Just so you guys know, I want to throw a plug in there. I've got a discount code with them. Crazy good attractants. Elk and deer love them. You could use code CHAG and save. I'll put a link in the description box. It's cracked out attractants. Grab a bag, try it this summer. I think you guys will find that the deer and elk really love it. But if you've got bait out, you're going to notice the animals are going to be there longer. That means they're going to trigger your camera more. So you don't want that camera triggering every 30 seconds or every 45 seconds. You might want to bump it to a minute and a half or something like that. And that way you can still get good life out of your camera for a few weeks and not eat up your SD card the first night something comes in and sits on your bait. The other thing to think is there a lot of does? Is there cattle? Is there other species in the area that might be coming in and triggering your camera? So you want to make sure that you're not getting a bunch of false triggers eating up your SD card life and your battery life. Think about that if it's on a trail where it's just going to be quick pass-throughs where animals are here and there. And you're on photo mode, you're going to want rapid fire, like 3 photo bursts every 15 seconds. That way, when things go by, you get those photos right away. Same with video mode. You want it to be ready to go the next time something comes by. So if you're on bait, set it to like maybe a minute and a half. And then if you're on more of a trail where things are going to happen quick, set it to every 15, 20 seconds. And that's going to help you out there. When you're setting up the camera, the sun can play a huge role. I like to set my cameras so that they're always facing north or shaded, and there's not a lot of sunlight coming in, because what's going to happen is, especially in those when the sun is lower in the evenings and mornings when the animals are out moving, that sun is going to be low and coming right into your camera lens, which is going to create a glare. So what I like to do is make sure that camera is facing north, not getting any sun glare, anything like that. That's going to give you your best image. It's going to keep the camera from triggering for dumb reasons, and you're going to be able to see the animals if they're in front of you and not have a glare. A couple things I've noticed is also you get false triggers from grass, weeds, branches, trees like that. So when you set your camera up, kind of look at what's going to be in frame and picture that, and make sure you bring maybe some gloves if you have break branches, bring some little arms or ways that you can chop down some of these branches. But you don't want anything, if the wind blows, to trigger that camera. I've had cameras set where the first day it got windy and it just was triggering my camera constantly, and I ran out of battery, memory, all in one day, and it was a waste. So really get out there and picture like what could potentially set my camera off, and just chop that out of the way. That's going to create a more open frame for your camera to work with. You're going to be able to see more of the animal when they come in, and you're not going to get any of those false triggers. So we've kind of got, the back end, formatting the camera and how to set it up based on what you're working with. We've got what to look for. I like to look for springs, game trails, pinch points. Those are your 3 best things right there. And then we've got framing your camera, getting rid of any false triggers, and also, making sure it's facing north and has good lighting. One more and final thing I'd say is you want to test the camera and walk in front of that camera, make sure it takes a picture, make sure the camera is working, put my arms up. That way, if an elk is standing out there or a moose, I know it's going to get the whole thing in the camera frame. So make sure everything is framed nicely. The camera is angled for whatever type of animal you're trying to get. If it's a deer, obviously you probably want to be a little bit lower. If it's elk, you can probably want to have that camera a little bit higher. But those are the things I would work with. Make sure your framing's right. Make sure you have it angled correctly, facing to the north, out of the sun, nothing inside of the frame that's going to get false triggers. Make sure you format that SD card. Take into account how long an animal is going to be in frame, and that's how long your intervals need to be set at and how long the video needs to be. I like 20 seconds. Make sure you're locking your camera to your tree, looking for springs, trails, pinch points, saddles, anywhere where animals are going to have to kind of funnel to. That's going to put you in the best place to have trail cam success this fall and summer in the scouting process. I'll make another video out in the field setting up some of my cameras here in a couple weeks, but that should be a good start for some of you guys as you're getting out there. We'll catch you guys on the next video.